I'm not going to overteach this, just the basics that actually helps. So I will talk about the science behind the shading. Let's understand light and shadow. So let's try to learn by this rule. Different value is equal to different plane. Light coming from only one direction makes the process infinitely easier. Two planes equally facing the direction of the source look equally lightened. But when one plane turns away from the light, that plane gets darker than the first plane. This way we have learned that different plane has different value. The planes plays a big role in turning the form. We'll keep adding the planes between the planes. It will make the form rounder and softer. As the plane moves away from the light, it gets more darker and darker. Let's learn the second rule, compressing 100% into 10%. We observe the nature. The nature has so many values. Beginners often tries to render every value they can see. First work is to simplify the image and turning that 100% values into a 10% of the value scale. How we do this? So we take a estimated darker value and assume the background as the lightest tone. And in the middle of the scale, we try to give a shade that is darker than the light shade but lighter than the dark shade. Here you'll get the halftone. By using the same method, you can create more halftones in your value scale, but try to be limited and simple. Let's understand this by rendering a cylinder. We only have two responsibilities: getting light from shadow and foreground from background. If you want to depict a round and soft form, you should use the soft edges at the corner of the shadow shape. And if you want to show the corner of the form sharp and edgy, we use thin and sharp line. First draw the shape of the form. Then draw the shape of the shadow on the form. Then give the shadow a darker value. That's it. You have learned how to render. Let's understand by rendering this example photo. We'll take the human body reference as a form. Then I'll draw the shape of the form, and at this second process I will try add the shadow shapes. And while adding the shadow shapes, I am keeping in mind that where the shadow edges are soft, the form is round, and if the form is sharper, then I will have to make the edges sharper. Again, we can understand by using this hand reference. We can use the gesture structure approach and then try to separate the light and shadow. So first of all, I'll draw the gesture of the hand and simultaneously add the structure. Then I'll separate the shadow shape. After separating the shadow shapes, I simultaneously taking care of the edges. So you can see we have rendered our form. I will also give some highlights up on the form and using the background color as the halftone. So remember that we have to group the shadows, take care of the edges, and take care of the light source. Remember, highlights move around. The trick is to keep them away from the shadow corner. That way the highlight always suggests two planes in light. The process should be shadow, halftone, and highlight, each having its own space. If the beginning of the shadow is a corner, then the halftone's most important job is to round the corner. The more gradation, the rounder the form gets. Now we'll talk the mistakes that beginners often make. Applying the coarse shadow with a hard edge rather than soft edge. Even if we have the light closer to the object, the edge quality will curve and vary according to the form's gritty. The second is a very common mistake among beginners is drawing the whole shadow so light that the viewer doesn't get the exact idea of chiaroscuro. Keep your halftones lighter than the shadow values. It will keep the light and dark family separate. Give the poppy contrast of the light and shadow. The third mistake is making the outline significantly darker than the shadow values and not suggesting the coarse shadow and separation of the light and shadow. First, draw the shape of the form. Then draw the shape of the shadow on the form. Then give the shadow a darker value. That's it. You have learned how to render. When you get comfortable drawing that, try body parts or the still life objects around you. If you like this video and learned something, please consider subscribing to our channel. And as always, keep drawing awesome.